So media consumption, does it make for a healthy mind, a healthy perspective, healthy entrepreneurial standpoint? Do you learn anything from media consumption? So yes, if you value what it means to be an entrepreneur, more or less, the more attractive way of saying capitalist in general, then yes, you want to be as absolutely informed as possible. And this goes back to when I discussed the benefits of expansive thinking versus contractive thinking. In business interactions, you definitely want to be as informed as possible. The more informed you are, the more information you can curate, the more you can carry on a conversation and find out, what your client or customer, your people's needs are, and the more in depth in the need process you can, kind of dig yourself into there and find your way through that field, right? It's just there's always a spider web of needs. And the more valuable, the more information you can curate, the more valuable you are to that person. So one of my favorite questions was actually posed to me. I was on a trip to Baltimore, and right next to never stop asking why. My second favorite question was posed to me by a professor of theory. I believe it was from Washington State. And he basically said to me, he goes, "Do you understand perfectly, or do you perfectly understand the way that someone else wants you to believe?" And I believe that's how the question was posed to me. So to me, that broke a totally new barrier, and that new barrier was basically how, handling new sociological interactions with people, like more or less the social logistics of everyday interaction, right? So being able to relate to people, fully and perfectly, the fact that you're in it to help them win it's much more valuable than putting forth the effort to show people that you're worth more money just because you have knowledge of this or that. Honestly, people aren't going to care how much knowledge you have if you're not in it to help them win. If you don't care about their business, they don't care about how much knowledge you possess. You could be a Nobel Peace Prize winner, right? The degrees and certificates are not nearly as valuable to people when you're not in it to help them win, right? Nobody cares. It's just a fact. Nobody cares what degrees, what knowledge you possess if you're not in it to help them win. It's a much more bullish way to get into the marketplace and show your value, right? It's a much more bullish way just to push a sale along. That's not good to start positive business relationships. And it's definitely, it definitely doesn't help in the second aspect, which is gaining a confident referral, right? Gaining a referral is different than gaining a confident referral, right? So a confident referral is a very powerful tool to have in your business tool belt, right? Confident referrals are much different than regular referrals. It's kind of like the whole concept of experience versus evaluated experience. Then just getting out there and helping, right? I believe it was Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, right? It just more or less, the whole concept is building around the 51-49 rule, right? In the 51-49 rule, you're basically putting forth 51% extra value, like another 1%. Instead of 50-50, put another 1% out there to help people identify that you're really in it to help them win. Give them things for free, right? I know, free. Very toxic word, business and capitalism, but let's take it from the digital disruptor standpoint, right? The freemium. People want that extra little bit of free, free capital, free value. And then after the after the jab, 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 the right hook is where you that's where you work in making the sale, right? Hey, I've done these things for you. And then from there, they almost feel bad to not reciprocate, helping you make that sale, helping you make it happen, especially, when they know for a fact that you're in it to help them win. So when it comes down to your media consumption, something I would highly advocate is be picky about your media. Don't just settle for anything. Don't just say, okay, hey, I saw it on Facebook. The worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I saw it on Facebook, so it must be true. That's like saying, you're not officially married until you update your Facebook status. And what about people who don't have stuff like that, right? So, don't just trust generated media sources just because it's popular. Don't just trust anything like that. That's totally ludicrous. Polarizing media is definitely not a good place to inform yourself. when it's polarizing, it tends to be agenda-based, right? All your mass media outlets, I mean, they're going to send you through waves and loops and poops. Be angry about this, feel bad about that. They want you, they're going to get you hooked with a story about a homicide, and then they're going to tell you about how a puppy's raising monkeys. But at the end of the day, they're really just, they are molding your mind to the way they want you to think. And when you take that into consideration, think back to the phrase, and I really hope this carries on from that professor in Baltimore. Do you understand perfectly, or do you perfectly understand the way someone else wants you to believe? Right? When I look for valuable media, I only look for things that are valuable. They have credible sources, and don't get distracted by crap. Right? There's so much crap out there in the media marketplace to consume. Right? It's like consuming food that's good for your body versus junk food. Food that's good for your body is going to help your brain, going to help your body grow. You're going to feel more energetic, happy to be alive. Junk food is going to tear you down and destroy your body a little bit at a time, right? And it's not good for a healthy functioning brain. Same thing with media, right? And again, do you understand perfectly, or do you perfectly understand the way that you're being taught to believe? Check multiple sources. Don't just settle for what somebody on a social media post said. There's a lot of things called book titles, right? Where a lot of folks don't read it, they just pass it on, and then it gets passed around as like real news. One of the methods I started to implement when looking for my credible sources for media consumption is the three C's of Socrates. I could say that the three C's of Socrates, right? Is it true? 1, is it true? 2, is it good? 3, is it necessary? That's something I would say you can really utilize to filter your mass media consumption, right? Is it true? Is it good? And is it necessary, right? Things that people are saying about, when events are being covered, are these events true, right? Are they good to hear? Is it good to be informed about these things taking place, or is it just random jargon that doesn't affect you whatsoever? And is it necessary? Is it necessary to hear the things that are being exposed to you? You're being exposed to that are in front of you. Is it necessary? Is it true, good, necessary? So if it's none of these things, then it's a bunch of bull, and it's designed to make you lose focus. So don't lose focus on stupid bull. These are some things that I really hope you guys are able to utilize, and from there just make good catered decisions. So thank you guys for joining me on ShopTalk. This is Steve with 3 Gens.